Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with a brand new review on a foundation. Thank you so much for joining me again. Please do not forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you do enjoy this video, and turn on your notifications button also so that you never miss another video. Thank you so much for all your love and support, and I just felt like I had to get that out, you know what I'm saying? Just vent, you know? So today's review is on the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. I've had mine for almost 3 weeks now, so I really have tested this out. When I first got it, I wore it for a week straight, so my opinion is definitely complete and I really feel confident in what I have to say. I have watched a couple of reviews. There are definitely mixed feelings out there in YouTube world, so I'm here to tell you guys what I think about this, the pros and the cons. You guys already know how I do my reviews. I like to tell you the good and the bad, if there is any bad, and if the foundation is like totally not good, I just don't even do a review because I don't believe in bashing a brand. I know they worked extremely hard to produce products and they invest a lot of money and time into it, so who am I to sit there and completely bash the product or the brand? So that's why if ever there's a product that I actually purchased, I talked about in a haul or on Snapchat, if I don't do a dedicated video, it just didn't work out for me and I have not much great things to say about it, so I just leave it unsaid. Again, Total Control Drop Foundation from NYX Cosmetics. This retails for $14. It's a little bit higher up there in price when you look at NYX Cosmetics, but they do have an HD foundation that retails for $20. So it's right there in between their lower end foundations and a little bit higher. I believe the ingredients on this are a little bit more better for your skin, and also the pigment is a lot more concentrated. That's why the price point came about. There are 24 shades to select from. That is incredible for a drugstore foundation to initially put out that many shades. And when you look at the shade range, in my opinion, they are amazing. They go from like extreme pale, like their lightest shade is super pale, almost white, and then the deeper shade is a very deep. So I love the shade range. There's lots of in-between shades, lots of undertones, and the undertones of these foundations are very strong in my opinion. If it's pink toned, it's gonna be pink toned. If it's yellow, it's gonna be really yellow. You actually see a huge difference from bottle to bottle. So I am extremely impressed, and I applaud NYX for coming out with such a huge shade range so that they can cater to so many skin tones. This little guy has 0.43 fluid ounces or 13 ml. Now that is very small amount, to be honest. Like when you look at other foundations, this is tiny, and look at the little bottle. I mean, it's the cutest thing ever. It's easy to store and travel with, but the product inside is very small quantity. NYX does say that because the pigment on this foundation is very high, you don't need a lot of it, so this will last you a really long time. I don't know about that. I've only had this for 3 weeks. I still have a lot. I haven't used it like consistently all 3 weeks. I did use it for a week and I still have a lot of product in here, okay? But I would definitely keep you guys updated. If you check the description box in a month from now or something, I will let you know if I ran out of this super duper fast. The shade that I decided to select mine in was in Golden. That's number 13, and I think it's a really good match on my skin. It's has like a nice golden warm tone to it, so it warms up my skin. It doesn't look different from my neck or anything. It does have that yellow undertone, but with that warm golden tint to it, if that made any sense to you guys. And I think it's a really good match, honestly. It goes really well with everything else on my face, okay? And we're gonna look at the bottle again. It's a tiny little frosted glass bottle. Because it is frosted, the foundation tends to look a lot lighter than it really is inside the bottle. So if you are looking at this at the store, grab one that's gonna look a shade or two lighter than you. That will probably be your shade, because they do look a lot, like when I look at this, it looks way lighter than my skin tone, but it is perfect for me. And then you have your little dropper. Once you open it up, it is pretty much the same thing as the Cover FX custom cover drops, the same concept. So they say that the more drops, the more coverage. So 2 to 3 drops. I believe 1 to 2 drops is sheer, 2 to 3 drops is medium, and then 4 drops and up is supposed to be full coverage. In my opinion, in order to achieve full coverage on my skin, I have to use about 7 drops in total, okay? 7 drops. So this foundation did also come out with a buffing brush. I didn't purchase that one because they don't have it at my store yet. So when I do, when it is available, I'll definitely pick it up and test it out for you guys. But for now, I'm just using my own buffing brush. My favorite brush to use this product is the Marc Jacobs Phase 2 brush because it is very, very dense and super tightly packed that the product does not sink into the brush. This is extremely, like, can you guys hear that? It's very, very watery. Like, I feel like it's even watery than the Cover FX one. So any brush that you drop this into will literally eat it up and soak it up. And so will your beauty blender because it's so watery. So a very tight, dense brush is really going to be your best friend when it comes to this foundation. This foundation does set quite matte, so I'll always use a luminous or dewy primer, something super hydrating that gives like a nice glow underneath the foundation. I have tried mixing in liquid illuminators just to give that radiance back into my skin, and it works out perfectly. It doesn't change the consistency of this foundation whatsoever. And the way I apply it also, I do not, let me stress this, I do not drop this foundation onto the brush and then onto my skin. If you do that, it will literally eat up your whole foundation and nothing will be on your skin. I know the videos out there show you to do it that way, but in my opinion, do not. I would drop it on the back of your hand. That's what I do. I drop about, I want to say 5 to 6 or 7 maybe, depending on how my skin is like, drops at the back of my hand. Grab it with my brush and then go ahead and stipple it all over the face and buff it in. When I do it like that, the foundation literally melts onto my skin. It buffs out so easily, so flawless, and so fast. It feels like I have absolutely nothing. It feels like I'm not even putting anything on my skin when I am buffing it in because it's so lightweight. You don't feel a thing on the face. That's the amazing thing about this foundation. You don't feel it at all. Application, wearing it throughout the day, you just don't feel it on your skin. It just feels like skin, which is amazing. Okay, this foundation definitely sets more on the matte side, and so it is great for those who have oily skin, normal to oily skin for sure. If you do have dry skin, dry patches, I would be cautious. Definitely exfoliate and hydrate the heck out of your skin before applying this foundation because it does cling on to textured areas and dry patches. Again, you guys already, if you've been familiar with my channel, you know that I have texture on my forehead area, also the bridge of my nose. I have a lot of texture around my mouth. So I do see when I don't use a super hydrating primer that it does start to cling onto those patches and separate a little bit, so you want to be careful with that, okay? But other than that, it really smooths out my skin. It leaves it looking very flawless initially. Like, my skin just looks like skin but perfected. You can still see the natural texture of my skin, which is amazing. It doesn't look like a mask or anything. So that's the really great thing about this foundation. You can really just mimic your skin but in a more healthier, evened out way. Not really healthier because it's not going to give you like any plumpness or any glow, but more of an evened out, perfected way, if that makes sense to you guys. It is the one that I'm wearing right now, so you guys know. Every other makeup applies on top of it really nicely. You don't have to set the foundation entirely all over the face. But in certain areas like my smile lines, like over here where my nose is, just losing my train of thought. You have to set it with a powder because it will sink into those fine lines and the crevices of my nose. So those are the main areas that I focus on setting this foundation, or you will start to see separation and creasing, things like that. But other than that, it sits really well on the skin. I will say do not go over 10 drops or it definitely starts to look more on the cakey side in my opinion. You will see it on top of the skin more and it just it just doesn't look as natural as with under 10 drops of this foundation. So it does have really good pigmentation and good coverage. I'm just gonna smell it again. Yeah, it really doesn't have like a strong scent to it that like is off-putting or anything like that. So if you're worried about that, this doesn't have it at all. That is it for my review video on the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. Let me know your comments down below for sure before leaving this video. Let me know your opinion. Have you tried it out? Do you recommend it? How did it work for your skin type? And also what video you would like to see next on this channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Remember, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys on the next video. Ciao!